So what is up, guys? Welcome back to the Morning Ackerman channel. Today we're going to cover the Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus. Quite the name. Essentially what this is Samsung's mid-range tablet offering, the FE line. Kind of think of it like the Galaxy S23 FE, but for the tablets. So Samsung has their S9 tablets and the S9 Ultra, but this one right here comes in at around $569 right now with the sales going on for the holidays, but it retails at $599 and goes up to $699 respectively, depending on if you go with 8 or 12 gigs of RAM. Now you can see here the back. I gotta tell you, this is a premium looking tablet right here. Super thin on the edges. Just a very nice overall product here. You'll see you have the USB-C down there, speaker grill right there. Then over here at the top, you do have yourself another speaker grill right there. It's just a very thin, nice, premium looking tablet. That's just all I could say about it. Does it look very different from Galaxy Tabs of before? Not really, but it's still very nice. So you can see right there, fingerprint sensor. This does have a whopping 12.4 inch display. Now that's a little bit less than like an iPad Pro 12.9, but their Tab S9 Ultra is way bigger than the iPad Pro 12.9. So this is a nice, huge tablet for a lower price point, and that's what I really liked about it. Also, you can get this for much cheaper because this tablet has trade-in values that are instant on Samsung's website. So not sponsored by them, but I just have to tell you, I paid around $275 for this tablet. Yeah, you heard that right, $275, because I traded in a phone. So if you got an old phone laying around or an old tablet laying around, go ahead and take advantage of the trade-in, and you could get this thing for, less than the price of a budget smartphone. So that's a pretty good offering, I would say. Now, this also does have dual 8-megapixel cameras on the back, which are not better than basically even cheap phones, but at least they put it a really wide, ultra-wide camera on the front. So if you are doing, videos from the front, you can go like this. If you're doing Zoom calls or meetings, and look at that. Look how wide that angle is right there on the front. So that's pretty useful right there on the tablet. So let's get into the next topic of this tablet. That's the body, the build, the bezels. First of all, it's made out of aluminum on the front and the back. The front is glass, but we have an aluminum frame is what I meant. And then this does have IP68 dust and water resistance. Yeah, IP68 for a mid-range tablet. Pretty nice. Also up here, there is expandable memory on this, and you can see this S Pen comes included. They also improved the magnet strength on this, so these don't slide around no more on because they used to feel a little flimsy, but they're pretty tough here now on the Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus. Also, this comes in a smaller size if you want an 11-inch, so you don't got to get this bigger size. That's even cheaper than this one. But even the magnet strength on the back is very tough. So you're not likely to drop this pen off of the body unless, you bump into something really hard. In addition, this pen is not charging. So it's a non-charge pen. It doesn't drain your battery or nothing like that. You just take it off and you just use it whenever you want. It's a Wacom style. So it's very good. And it just reminds me of the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra line. And then if you go ahead and click the S Pen button, you'll see you have all these different actions you could do. Create a note, and this is super useful because on a tablet, you can really start writing things out pretty easily because of the wide screen. And Samsung Notes is very feature packed. In addition, over here you have the ability to write on calendar, screen write, and you can add more things, more shortcuts into your S Pen command window. If we go over here in the settings, you'll see we also have the compact feature right there. So if you want to make this button press a little more compact, like you see over here, you can do that. So that's a neat touch as well. So if we go back, you won't have error actions because this is not an S Pen Pro, but you can buy an S Pen Pro and connect it to this to take advantage of those features. There's also, quick notes and more S Pen settings. So there's a lot you can do with this S Pen. It's a great value add. You don't have to pay for this as an extra thing. And I think Samsung should keep that way because that's what really sets them apart from buying like a Surface tablet or buying an iPad where you have to buy the pencil and stuff separate. So really enjoy that. The display on here is a 90 Hertz LCD IPS panel. Now, with the One UI 6, you can easily change dark mode and eye comfort shield on here. And you also do have the ability to make this thing really bright, because for some reason, I have the S9 Ultra too, the Tab S9 Ultra, the beast of their lineup. This display still impresses me. It's super bright. It looks brighter than the S9 Ultra to me. I think it's because LCD. I don't know. It doesn't look quite as contrasty or quite as deep blacks as the OLED, but it's still very impressive. And it does have 90 hertz. Although even with the 90 hertz, I had it off at one point and I forgot it was off. So this tablet is pretty relatively good even without it on. If you want to save battery, it's still pretty smooth. But don't get me wrong, this is not a flagship tablet, so that's going to be one of the cons of this one. Overall though, the display, quite nice. I will say though that the bezels are a little bit bigger than some premium tablets out there, but that's not a big issue because you need something to put your thumbs on like that. The aspect ratio 16:10 means that this is better for watching video. So I found that to be the case. This is one of my favorites for watching video. I find myself just using the swipe text because it's got a nice wide screen on here. And so it really fills the whole area. Let's go ahead and click another one. If you zoom in, it's like the full screen view. So it's a very good YouTube machine. In addition to that, it's not really the best for, I would say, productivity. It's still good, but because it's this 16:10, I find the iPad's aspect ratio a little bit better for, having things across the screen. It's still useful though. But I'm just saying, this is better for entertainment aspects. So this is a really good entertainment tablet. Now over here, if you click Dex, this is going to go into the new Dex, which is their mobile version where it kind of keeps you in the tablet version of the software. So if we go ahead and open up, let's go ahead and open up an application. How about one of my calculators? You'll see you're staying in tablet mode here. Let's go ahead and open up weather. Once again, we're staying in tablet mode here. This is kind of like the new Dex. It's pretty nice if you don't want to get out of the tablet environment, but they also have this ability. If we go into settings here and we scroll down to, let's go to Dex. Where's Dex at? There's Dex features where you can actually change now between two different versions. So you got the new or the classic. The classic's going to be like the computer version. So I would have to exit Dex first to enable that. But if I click classic, we'll start Dex, and this actually got faster in One UI 6. It actually opens Dex faster than it ever used to before. And then you have this full PC environment. Now, in this respect, I do prefer to connect the keyboard to it because just the way it's set up is kind of more like a laptop. So let me go ahead and connect this keyboard. Okay, so now we're in the classic Dex mode. You could see I'm actually operating the mouse down here, but we're trying to see what's on screen. So if we click the calculator, let's go ahead and click that. You'll see you're kind of operating within the classic Dex mode, which is a lot like a Windows type of environment. So very nice. And this really takes the value up a lot because tell me why, you have an iPad that kind of still, this is like what I'm thinking about when I'm using this as an iPad, because iPads cost way more. And they do have their new slide over features and stuff like that. But you have a cheaper Samsung tablet with a cheaper processor that can operate like a laptop. This is pretty good offering and value. I mean, this thing I think could actually replace a laptop for light casual users. It really could. You wouldn't even need a laptop with this product. Really takes this thing to a level that you wouldn't expect. Now, keep in mind, you are running Google Android OS, so you're not going to be able to use programs that are significantly better than, mobile. So if you want like Windows-based type of applications, you're not going to be able to do that. But at the same time, you do have a lot of multitasking, a lot of productivity, things you could do on here. So this could potentially be a laptop replacement for some people. It really could, just due to the nature of Dex right here. However, buying this book keyboard cover is quite a premium option. I think it's something like $250. Might be a little more or less, but it might be a little bit more or less, but it's not a really cheap option. So you might want to look third party if you want to save even more on that. If you want to exit Dex, you just click that right there. And then it'll quickly pop back over into tablet mode. This is like the closest thing I've seen to like a dual like OS thing. Like, you know how a lot of people have been wanting like to boot into two different operating systems. It's not really that, but it kind of feels like that because you're going into like a Windows based environment and then a tablet based. It's very versatile. So yeah, with this display though, you know, it's a little bit shorter and wider. So again, that could affect the productivity, but it's not really a big problem. This is pretty decent. Now, talking about the CPU, this is where this tablet falls a little bit short. It does have the Exynos 1385 nanometer. I think they use that in one of their A-line phones. It's fast enough for usage. It didn't bother me to the sense of where like I was like super mad at it, but I definitely was craving a little bit more stability and a little bit more consistency. It's not always consistent. Sometimes it can get a little bit choppy on this tablet, especially if you kind of like just started it up, you turned it off, you started it up, and then you're starting to go through applications. It can get a little choppy, but it's generally, I think you're not going to be mad at it for the price. It's generally a good performer. Long term, I'd be a little concerned about how this performs in the long term, but for a good 2-3 year run, I think it'll be fine. Even 4-year run, if they keep it updated, it should be fine. And it can run most of what you want to use on this tablet, including Dex, due to the 8 gigs of RAM. I would go 12 gigs of RAM if you really care a lot about the performance. It should help it out even more. Although this doesn't really use all the RAM provided, you're probably not gonna really use it all, but those times you do need it. If you're a heavier user, you'll probably want that 12 gig of RAM option. If you go over to memory, you'll see it doesn't even use up all the memory. Even when you're opening applications, you can clean it up and stuff like that. So if you get performance issues, you can just go over here in device care and fix that quickly. Now, another nice software add is the taskbar down here. You can see it right there. This is hideable, so you could just go like that. And then you could press again to bring it back. This really improves multitasking. They have this now on the Galaxy Z Fold as well. It's a pretty nice feature. And then when you want to check out other things, you can go ahead and just pull over here on the edge panel. You can create app pairs, and you can go ahead and grab these applications over here. You can also hide that gesture bar down there. And Samsung just updated this to One UI 6, so we have the latest version of the software and all the advanced features that come with it, including the new quick panel, which you can pull down from anywhere on the screen. It's very nice. And then we do have ourselves Eye Comfort Shield in dark mode. Now, Eye Comfort Shield on this tablet looks a little bit more yellow and orangish than I would like. I think it looks a little bit better on the OLED screen, but still, it kind of just feels like a filter over it versus like built in. But the Eye Comfort Shield does work pretty well. Doesn't look like there's any adaptive on this screen though. But software, still the customizable aspects you have always had for Samsung. Again, just like their phones, they don't throw in too many wallpapers. Here's your featured wallpapers that come with this. In addition, they did take away the ability where it says the applications, it doesn't say Samsung anymore. It just says Galaxy Shop. It just says Health. It just says what the app is without putting Samsung in front of it. You do have the Galaxy Store, which you can really go to town customizing with this tablet right here. You can get more applications in here as well. Lots of theming options. So really it's just really a good product here in the Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus if you want a lot of fun to play around with features. Okay, so the cameras. The front one is good, especially for video chat. Let's bring this over here. They're okay. I mean, they work. This got 2x zoom. This is nothing special though. It's a tablet camera. It'll take a decent photo. At least Samsung does some post-processing to make it look a little bit better than it would have looked based on just the resolution. But I'd say this feels like about like a budget smartphone camera. And I mean budget. I mean like $150 phone, $200 phone. That's kind of how this camera looks. And there might even be phones at that price that have better camera than this. But you know, I'm not here to bash it because of a camera. That's not why you buy this product. It does have 4K video recording. You can also do pro modes, pro video, single take, night shots, food modes. You got a lot of the same ones from the phone, but you know, it's just a camera for a tablet. It's kind of basic. It does the job for the little tablet stuff you'll do, but I don't see you probably using this as your main camera. But at least you have expandable memory if you are going to be taking a lot of photos on here. I do have to say the placement of this fingerprint can get annoying sometimes, just because, you know, on the Tab S9 Ultra, it's right there. We always have to reach up over here. However, it's in the right location if you are going to be using this in the portrait orientation. And that's one thing I was going to say. In the portrait orientation, it takes some getting used to this. It just feels like a really tall, long Galaxy smartphone that's massive. That's kind of what it feels like. But if you're used to tablets like this, it's not going to be a big issue. It does display a lot of content, but it's just kind of awkward in this shape. So I feel like this is much better to use in the landscape orientation. But if you want to use it in a pinch in this portrait orientation, it's fine. It works. But I prefer to keep it in landscape most of the time because it's just kind of how it's set up. Battery life on this tablet has been very impressive. Actually, this is one of the best battery mobile devices I've used all year long. This has a 10,090 milliamp hour battery. It charges at 45 watts, so it quick charges. And I think it's because of the slower CPU, the LCD. The thing just lasts and lasts and lasts. You can also go ahead and turn off the 90 hertz to get even better battery life. But I just find myself using this for hours on end and it's just sipping battery. So a really strong battery tablet here. If you're looking for that, you're going to get it here for Samsung. My palm was covering the screen if you're going to say that was lag. My palm was actually covering the operations, so it wouldn't actually close. But the battery on here, very impressed. So don't really worry about that. You're going to get like 9 to 10 hours screen time, maybe even 11 hours if you're conservative with your screen brightness, the display, taking it down to 60 hertz. This thing lasts and lasts, let me tell you. It's been one of the most impressive aspects. I got the Tab S9 Ultra, and that's not even close to the battery life of this in my experience. The audio performance on here is also very loud. We do have the Dolby Atmos and AKG tuned speakers. I'm not going to play a sound because I don't want to right now, but they're off here to the right and off to the left. They're not easy to cover because your hands will be down here, so that's a smart decision by Samsung. But they fire out and they're very loud. Great tablet to watch movies on, videos. It's plenty loud enough. You heard that magnet? That's a strong S Pen magnet. Plenty loud enough on here for sure. And when it comes to the connectivity aspects, this does have the Bluetooth 5.3. It's not the Wi-Fi 6E. It has Wi-Fi 6. And this does have Wi-Fi 7, or it doesn't have Wi-Fi 7. So if you're looking for Wi-Fi 7, this is not the move for you. But you know, the connectivity is solid. We have USB-C. You could use this as a DeX to a monitor. It's pretty cool. And you know, it's just a pretty current overall setup. You know, it's not the highest end, but it's current. So it's a good option. It's a good gift and stuff like that. Okay, so I've been giving it a lot of praise. What are the cons of this Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus? Well, there's only two major ones that really stand out to me, but they probably are not deal breakers. One is the performance is not as consistent as obviously as a flagship tablet. There can be occasions where you notice a little stutter and the animations are just not as smooth because it just doesn't have the power to give you the most buttery smooth animations like you'll find on their top line Snapdragon CPUs. But here's the thing. It was still never a problem in the sense of like it stopped me from doing what I wanted to do. So it performs good enough, but it can look a little bit choppy in some respects. Even with the 90 hertz turned on, it's still much smoother than you would expect though, with like a 60 hertz iPad or something like that. So at least you get that where you don't get that on the base level iPad. So that's a nice touch. I just wish that this had a little bit better performance. I think it would make it a little bit better of a value for sure. Next con is that it's not OLED. Now for some people that's not a con. Some people really want an LCD product, and if you want one, this is one of your options. But when I look at Samsung devices, I always expect OLED because they're like the best. They're some of the best displays out there. However, they do have the vivid mode, which is slightly more vivid, I would say, than an iPad screen. But generally speaking, the vibe I got from this is it looks like an iPad screen. It's an LCD. It has those grays that don't look black, you know, when you're looking at, you know, darker content. So it's definitely more iPad-like, the screen, than Samsung-like, if that makes sense. Less punchy, more a nice vivid option, but more nicely tuned colors, a little bit muted, a little bit of grays on the blacks, but overall, it's a solid screen. It still feels very bright and premium. And it definitely, I think, helps with the battery life that it's not, maybe that it's not having this super premium processor. So it's okay for me. In conclusion, I love this tablet. I really do. And the reason I love this tablet is because I think it offers you great value for money. There's not a lot of tablets out there that give you such a feature packed software, S Pen included, you know, giving you like all this productivity sense of things you can do for this price. I know it starts at $600. That's kind of high for what you're getting, but you're not really going to pay that if you do a trade-in or you take advantage of discounts. And this tablet will be on discounts throughout the year for the Christmas season. For, you know, they're going to be throwing this on discount every time they get a chance. So this one is going to be your value option. And I love it for that reason. I think you get so much for the money here. You get to do a lot with one product. The versatility of this product, especially with Samsung DeX, is what really takes it up a notch. You don't have to pay extra for the accessory. You do have to pay extra for a keyboard. That stinks, but if you don't want to buy this overpriced, well, potentially overpriced keyboard, you can go buy something on Amazon for cheaper and rock out. Or you can just use a Bluetooth keyboard at home with a mouse, no big issue. I think it's a really strong offering for the money. Now, if you want to see my Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra, the beast, the bigger one, I got that one too in studio. So if you want to see that one, let me know down below in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, entertaining, and informative, click the like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already. On this channel, we're going to cover things we don't typically cover on the main channel. Nick here helping you to... More Nick Ackerman here helping you to master that technology. I'll catch you all in the next episode. And peace.